Today, I will be taking you through how to use the Pangolin Exchange, purchase the Pangolin token, switch it for the AVAX token, everything you need to know from setting up your MetaMask account, connecting this with an Avalanche wallet, step by step. Everything we talk about will be linked down below in the description. This is an intense one, this is an advanced one, but you're so many steps ahead of the crowd if you understand how to use this exchange and the potential airdrops that are coming for this. We talk about that Uniswap airdrop in the beginning, so let's waste no time and get right into it.
All right, we are here on the Pangolin website. Make sure, just as a caveat, you're using exactly this, app.pangolin.exchange. So make sure you're matching this, because if you're just searching, in a new tab, Pangolin Exchange, Avalanche Network, somebody could be running an advertisement that pops up first, and when you make an exchange, you're not going to get that money back. That's part of using these decentralized exchanges or DEXs. There is no one holding your hand here. You have to take your own responsibility, make sure you're on the right exchange. Always make sure that this is proper up here. All right, so to actually use this ecosystem to exchange AVAX for, again, what a lot of people were looking for is the PNG token. You can see here, we can do that here in a second, but what we need to do is connect with our Web3 wallet, okay? So I personally use MetaMask just as a practice account. I have multiple MetaMask set up because here's a little trivia while we set this up and kind of show you. But, if you would have used Uniswap in September 2020, just one little simple exchange, okay? Just one little simple exchange. You would have gotten a Uniswap airdrop that is worth $1,200. Now, that may sound nice, but guess how much that's worth today? Let me know in the comments. Guess how much while I move over here. So this is another article, but if you guessed, it is $10,000 in Uni today if you're still holding. So that's just if you use one MetaMask account. I personally use multiple MetaMask accounts to, first of all, mitigate risk. So if anything happens to one by chance, then you have other backup ones. I use different like staking things, different things in DeFi. But yeah, so make sure you're using multiple MetaMask accounts. Again, if you're a beginner, maybe just stick to one, understand that, and then you can scale up. But I like to use multiple, so you're kind of putting yourself in a position where you can receive airdrops and from multiple addresses. So let's see. Okay, what you want to understand is, in order to really exchange anything in Pangolin, you need to make sure you're on the Avalanche C-Chain, okay? So with Uniswap, for example, you need to make sure you're on ERC20. With Binance, you need to make sure you're on the Binance Smart Chain. We've made tutorials on Binance Smart Chain. We'll be making a Uniswap tutorial coming soon. But for Avalanche, this is a nice little article. We'll have these things linked down below, so you can just copy and paste into your MetaMask. But when you're in your MetaMask, what you want to do, if you guys can see this, if you're using Brave, essentially what you can do, this is just like a practice test network. This is a practice MetaMask account. And when I'm like in here, I can see, okay, maybe like I have some little bit of BNB in my Smart Chain account. Yeah, so a little bit here. So each of these are different networks. In order to add a new network, what you want to do is, first of all, like what I would say is, if you're just copying it from this website, you want to make sure you're copying maybe like the hardest thing to type, because if the only problem with this when you're doing this is when you're using MetaMask as an extension, you can't click back and forth. Otherwise, it'll close out and it'll reset. So as you're adding a network in, here, boom. Okay, so as you're adding a network in, you want to make sure maybe you like copied the hardest to type out, because you're going to have to double check all of this. And then when you go to here, settings, and you go down to networks, go down to add a network, then you type all these. Okay, so for example, Avalanche C-Chain. The reason we have timestamps with this video is because anyone who has already done this can skip to the next timestamp. So if you have you can go ahead and skip to the next timestamp. This is just in anyone who has not used this with MetaMask, just so they're able to understand how all this works and properly set it up. So again, you're not sending it to like the wrong chain. And then once we have the setup, we will send over some AVAX tokens to this MetaMask account, and then we can interact with Pangolin. Okay, so you want to make sure you're typing all these things in properly, and then you can double check. So for example, like Avalanche C-Chain, you see we typed this incorrectly because that was a copy and paste. You have O0x886A, 0x86A, AVAX, boom, we got that, nice. All right, and then for the last one, Block Explorer. This one's optional, which is nice, but let's just do it for the sake of this. HTTPS. There is an easier way of doing this, but just for this tutorial, I'm going to do it simple with you guys, just in case. Apologize, I typed that in wrong. Just in case anyone's never done this before, it's just simpler to show this way. Really, the easiest way of doing this is just pulling this out in this tab in another window, so you can just copy and paste from one window to another. But for the ease of this video, I just want to do this so kind of beginners understand. All right, so now you can see that we've added the Avalanche C-Chain, but there's nothing in this. Okay, so if we're on here, we switch over to the Avalanche C-Chain. Whoops, that's the Rubinsky. We can switch to the Avalanche C-Chain. There's nothing in this, and it's not connected to anything. You see, this is the problem. So once you get to this step, what you want to do is actually create an Avalanche Ecosystem wallet. So you can do that by going here. So this is wallet.avax.network. Again, we'll have this link below in the description, so you know you're not going to like a scammy one by just like searching this in. You're going to be very, very careful with this, guys. And for the sake of this, again, what we'll be doing is I purchased my Avalanche token on Binance, and we'll be sending it over to this wallet. Through this, you'll have it sent cross-chain to the MetaMask account, and then you can interact with Pangolin. So this is essentially what we're going to do. As you can see here, if you already have a wallet, you can click here, or you can generate key phrase, and this is your key phrase. So use the 24-word in sequential order to recover your Avalanche wallet. So when you do this, you can click I wrote down my key phrase in a secure location. I will cut here, even though this is a practice account, just because if anyone watching this video could just generate, this account, but since it's just set up, we will cut here. Okay, once you have your mnemonic written down on paper, make sure you're not writing this down in your notes app, in Google Docs. It is on paper, your mnemonic. So not your keys, not your crypto. Remember this. This is where it might get a little more complicated, but just stay focused on this. You can always rewind. I'll try and go slow. But essentially what you have to understand is Avalanche X, Avalanche P, and Avalanche C. So C is for contract, P is for platform, X is for exchange. You can see I sent from Binance, where I purchased this AVAX token, over to this Avalanche wallet. And that's why it's in X. So it's on the exchange. I sent it to this derived wallet address. It sends very, very quickly. You can see just a little bit ago. And then just for practice doing this, I sent a tiny bit over to here just to make sure this is safe and secure. Sometimes there's errors, but usually not. Just make sure you put proper practices in place. I always like to send a small amount. Since the fees are so tiny, you can do this, which is a nice thing, to make sure everything is connected right. 99.999% of the time it is connected correctly, but I still do this just to make sure, okay, everything's running smoothly, and now we can move forward. So once you have this sent over from an exchange, so again, Binance, you can send it wherever you're buying your AVAX, send it over to this Avalanche wallet if you want to complete this process. So you have your derived wallet address. This changes every time someone sends it to you. Now, this is so key. You do not want to go to send first. You want to go to cross-chain first. You go to cross-chain. First, you have your source chain. So we have in this exchange, X-chain. We want it to send to our C-chain, okay? So from our C-chain, that's when we go to send, and we can then send it over to the exchange, okay? So it may sound a little confusing again. But so you would go here, so you want X-chain to C-chain. And this is where we're going. We can hit start again, because I did this just for a little practice run through, just to make sure everything was set up properly. So you go here, you would go to, so let's just say we want to do the max amount here. So 0.888, let's do that. So there's a little room for fees. Boom. So we go here, we make sure this is correct. You can see how this works. You can see the export ID and then the import ID, and then it's going in between these two, right? So the X chain was up here, the C chain is here. So you're going to see it added to this C chain. Boom. And now it sends over from there, and boom, now C chain is loaded up. So now we can go to send, and now that we're in C chain, okay, so now that we're here, we can go and send it over to MetaMask. And from our MetaMask, you enter it in Pangolin. Now, I know this is complicated, but again, this is why I made this video. This is specifically why I made this. So hit the MetaMask. When you're in here, you want to copy this address, okay? So you can see I have a tiny bit loaded up. Again, that was just kind of my practice send to make sure everything's running smoothly. I like to do that just for peace of mind. I know this is all code, but I've always done this since I started crypto, just for peace of mind, because I always like to apply the mentality of scale. So how you treat $100 is how you will treat $1 million. If you're treating $100 poorly, it's the same. Like if I'm transferring over, let's say $100,000 from let's say, I don't know, the Polkadot ecosystem. I always like to send $1 first, okay, or $10 first, just for a little practice, because you might as well do a little practice run, make sure everything's running smoothly, and then you can just rinse and repeat for the larger amount. That's just kind of my personal framework going into this. So again, once we have that copied from MetaMask, we can hit this address. We would pop that in, or you can do the QR code if you prefer. You can go there. Then we'll go ahead and send this balance over. So 88, let's do that. So it's $25 being sent over. You can see a tiny, tiny fee. This is such a small fee. So nice to see. You can see how quick it is too. I absolutely love this ecosystem. And now we're getting to the fun stuff. I know this is complicated. That's why I did the timestamps. But yes, so you successfully sent this transaction. You can see now our C is empty. Pretty much everything's empty here. We can go here to Pangolin, and guess what? We have our AVAX here. So this is very, very nice. I originally sent over basically 0.99 AVAX tokens, so the fee is so small. This is like a tiny amount, $25. And now, again, we're into the fun stuff. So just to repeat that process, you have these different chains. You have X for exchange, P for platform, and C for contracts. I like doing a C to X, and since this is, if we want to send this back, we would do the reverse. So hope everyone has that now. Kind of take a deep breath. You got it in there. You can always rewind this if you want. But now you can see we're in this ecosystem where we can have really, really low fees. And now let's go ahead and buy some of that nice old PNG. All right. So now we can see balance. We have just under one AVAX, which is around, again, like $25. PNG, at time of recording this, is right around like $5.79, or 75 cents rather. So let's just say we want 2 PNG just to keep it easy. Sometimes if you're clicking that, what will happen is it'll say not enough liquidity. That's just a second to load, but you can see how fast this is. So price impact, very, very small amounts. Maximum sold. You do want to check these things. It's important. So the liquidity provider fee, all very, very small, especially in compared with Uniswap. So let's see. So input is estimated. You will sell at most this amount of AVAX, or the transaction will revert. Transactions will not be accepted unless the gas fee is set to 470 GWEI or GWEI. Okay, so we can hit confirm swap. Let's see if this goes through. Typically, you'll have to confirm it with MetaMask. It'll say, do you want to confirm this transaction? Yes, I will confirm that transaction. Transaction submitted. So we can view on the C-Chain Explorer. We can actually click over to this just for fun, and I'll show you guys how this works. If you don't really know the blockchain, this is essentially where, like, it's a public record of everything that goes on. So here we go. So transaction 0 confirmed. Let's see. So what you want to do now is go over to Pangolin, make sure you have that 2 PNG in this case, for example. But when you go to your MetaMask, do not freak out, because you will not be seeing it, because you have not added this token to your wallet. Okay, so when you go to add token, you'll have to add a custom token, because as you see PNG here, maybe if you're doing this, I don't know, like 2 weeks from now at the time of recording, it'll be in search, but you have to add a custom token. Okay, and the nice thing is, this is why we have Coingecko here to AVAX scan. So Ether scan is if you're adding a custom Ethereum token, but AVAX scan is perfect, because okay, go over here and go, okay, so what do I need to add this token? Well, you need the token contract address. So we can just click to copy here. That's very nice. Click to copy. Boom. Now we're going over to MetaMask. We're adding this token in our custom tokens. You'll have to add the decimal as well and the token symbol. So our token symbol is PNG. And the decimal of precision is 18. Boom. Boom. You can see 2 Pangolin. Let's go. Add the tokens. You see. Now you're starting to get happy. And I know this may have been a headache, especially if you haven't done this before. This is good learning experiences, guys, because think about how far ahead of the curve you are just from knowing this. Most people, 99.9% of people don't even know what Avalanche is, yet alone Pangolin, yet alone how to actually use it to do all these things. So give yourself a pat on the back if you've done all these things properly, and you've gone to C-Chain, you've set up your Avalanche wallet, you've gone on Pangolin. Now you get to have the fun stuff, okay? So now you get to see it. Let's talk about the pool. Liquidity provider rewards. Liquidity providers earn a 0.03% fee. or sorry, a 0.3% fee on all trades proportional to the share of the pool. Fees are added to the pool, accrue your real time, blah, blah, blah. You can add liquidity here, and you can kind of choose what you want. If you want an in-depth video on that, I can make it. I don't want to waste too much time on that. It's actually pretty simple to do. So airdrop, let's hit over here. Essentially, this airdrop is if you have an active wallet. This wallet, since we just set it up, is not eligible for any PNG tokens. But just think about, as I said in the beginning, Uniswap. If you got that airdrop, it's now worth $10,000 per wallet you used. So consider using multiple wallets. Consider like doing this. So you're kind of honing in these skills, and you're eligible for future airdrops. Because guess what? This token is very, very new, guys. If we go here on the Pangolin price, this is kind of where we'll wrap up with. But just look at this. I mean, just look at the price action. If we just go to the 1 year, because it hasn't even been around for a year, guys. How long has this been? Yeah, so Friday, February 19th. We are so early in this. It is insane. So I hope everyone is smiling while they're watching this, because let me tell you, if you're watching this, and I would say March of 2021 at least, this is the beginning of March when we're posting this, but if you're watching this, you are early. You are early, especially if you made it to the end of this video. Thank you very much for making it this far. Really appreciate it, everyone. Definitely leave me a comment down below if you think, if you have anything to say, if you want to see any other things around the Avalanche ecosystem. We will cover this token here in a second, but I just wanted to say definitely leave those down below in the comments. And if I missed anything, let me know. Or if you ran into any issues, I'm happy to help, or I'm sure other people in the community are happy to help. So Pangolin PNG, rank 715. About 3,000 people like this. $5.75 at the time of recording this. Everything in the market's a bit down right now. Market cap is tiny, guys. Again, this is on our top 6 coins for March. Right around a $12 million market cap, 24-hour low to high, 523 to 640. We can see a circulating supply versus max supply. That's nice. All right. So that's pretty much it. You know, you see the all-time high of $18.85, right around $19. All-time low, $3.60. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, button all. Invest global. And until next time.